Hey family, so the question for today is, how well do we know God's voice? Okay, so in John 10, right, verse 27, it says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me." Okay, so this is Jesus telling the people around him, right? He was like, if the stuff I'm saying to you, right, is not connecting with you, then you are not my sheep, right? But if it's connecting with you, and you hear and you know that it's the truth, then you are my people, because the sheep knows its shepherd's voice, right? Okay, so the thing is, we as God's people, we gotta ask ourselves, do we know God's voice well enough to know the difference when He is talking to us and when the enemy is disguising himself as a participant from God, trying to deceive us? Okay, so today we're going to talk about the only 2 times God's voice was heard. Okay, God's voice was heard during Jesus' time on earth. Okay, and the first time was when he was being baptized in Luke chapter 3 verse 21. It says, when all the people were being baptized, Jesus was baptized too, and as he was praying, heaven was open and the Holy Spirit descended on him in a bodily form like a dove, and then a voice came from heaven, "You are my son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." Okay? And then the second time, right, is in John 12. We're going to say it's 28, and it says, "Then a voice came from heaven, I have glorified it and will glorify it again." Okay? So, the question again is, how well do we know God to know, was this actually His voice that is being spoken at this time, right? Or is this some kind of plan to deceive us from the enemy? Okay, because it never says God, right? When reading the Old Testament, it's always made clear when God is talking, right? But in these 2 instances, it's not clear. It just says a voice. It don't say God voice. It just says a voice. Okay? Okay, and so most of the time when the devil approached Adam to deceive him, it was in the form of in the form of a being from God. Okay, like this time he is approaching Adam in the form of an angel. Okay, it says he then placed his throne. Okay, this is the devil. He placed his throne at the mouth of the cave because he could not enter into it by the reason of prayer. Okay, so at this time Adam and Eve was praying, And he wanted to deceive them, but he couldn't come in because they was praying. So he sat at the mouth of the cave, okay? And he shed a light into the cave glistening over Adam and Eve, while his host began to sing praises. And Satan did this in order that when Adam saw the light, he should think within himself that it was a heavenly light, that Satan's hosts were angels, and that God had sent them to watch at the cave and to give him light in the darkness. Okay, so the devil has the knowledge, okay, because anything that the devil do is because he has the knowledge from God. Okay, when you look at the book of Enoch, they talk about some of the roles that the angels had before they fell out of heaven. Okay, so God, he has all knowledge, okay? But every time he gave an angel a job, he gave them a piece of his knowledge in order to complete the job, okay? So two of the angels that fell, Ezekiel, okay, he had the knowledge of the clouds, okay? And Samziel had the signs of the sun, okay? So they had knowledge of how to manipulate and move the clouds and the sun, okay? You listening? Ain't that what it says when, he was being baptized? It's like the sun and the clouds, and then you heard this voice. It didn't say it was God's voice, but you heard a voice, right? Right? Okay. And then if you go to verse 12 in the book of Adam and Eve, right? I think it's chapter 17, sorry. And it says, no sooner after Adam said to this, then an angel from God appeared to him in the cave, who said to him, O Adam, fear not. This is Satan, his host. He wishes to deceive you as he deceived you at first. For the first time he was hidden in the serpent, but this time he comes to you in the likeness of an angel of light, in order that when you worship him, he might enslave you in the very presence of God. Okay? And when we are at John 12, right? Jesus, this voice is telling people to glorify Jesus. We always say God is a jealous God. Didn't he say glorify nobody but him? But then he's going to turn around in John and tell us to glorify Jesus. But then if you read Adam and Eve, it says the devil, this is a trick that the devil played before in order to get us to worship him so that he can enslave us in the very presence of God. I keep telling y'all, the devil keep playing the same tricks. He just keep putting on a new outfit. Okay? And it says, but when the crafty Satan saw them, that they were going into the garden, he gathered together his hosts and came in appearance on a cloud, intent on deceiving them. Okay? Are y'all listening? And then when you get to Jared and the devil trying to deceive him, then the devil comes in form. So God tell him, do not fall for these apparitions, these forms, right? This is why God tell us to not be led by our sight, right? Because the devil that's how he been tricking Adam this whole time, is by coming in different forms, apparitions, okay? When you pray, the devil flee. Pray and ask God. Pray and ask God for the truth, family. Okay? I love you. Have a